Welcome to Tournament Center with me, Rich Hagan, and him, the one and only Brad Nelson from channelfireball.com. Now, as you can see on the screen behind me, Brad has started off 5-0, and now we go into M11 draft. We've got the story of 2 drafts to bring you, and it's also the story of 2 colors. The first draft, we're going to talk about red. In the second draft, we're going to talk about blue. So, here's how it sets up. In the first draft, Brad opens a couple of nice white cards. Armored Ascension is there. Then there's a bunch of green, and then we get pack 1, pick 7. And there's this Pyroclasm there. What are you thinking when you see that pick 7?
Pyroclasm is one of those cards that can be really good or really bad in a deck, depending on where the draft's going. And so far, there was a lot of Spectres and Veterans, and it's just like one of the best cards that I could have as a splash in a green deck. And I didn't want to be the Grook's champion deck and bashing people because it just didn't
the
look
companion, the
appropriate.
3/2 Trampler guy?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, the companion. So Pyroclasm was just an amazing pick right now.
All right. He gets a bunch more green, Fauna Shame, and Overwhelming Stampede in pack 2. And then, down at pick 6 in the middle pack, we get this. So now, all of a sudden, here's a Prodigal Pyromancer. What are you thinking now?
It was the best card in my deck. It beat 2 people in that draft, and I knew it was going to be good. Like, there was a lot of X1s, like I said, and it also helps Bears trade up, and 3/3s trade with Sarah Angels. Like, he's really good. He's not as good as M10, but, I mean, he was insane then, and he's just as good now.
Now, quite a lot of red came Brad's way towards the back end of that middle pack, but it wasn't that exciting. It was a Canyon Minotaur, an Earth Servant. And then he opens up pack 3, starts with Triskelion and Juggernaut, so artifacts, that's great, no problem there. But then we get these 2 really big crunch picks. So let's take a look at pack 3, pick 4. Now, I instantly look at Chandra's Outrage. It's got 4 damage, you're going to do 2 to the face as well, instant speed. What more could a guy want? Well, apparently, if you're the guy, you want something more.
The green decks really want cards like Yavimaya Worm. Not a lot of them, but 1 or 2, like 2 to 3 5-drops and 1 to 2 6-drops are really good in the deck. And Chandra's Outrage in a green deck is just pretty bad. Like, you're always going to be killing down, like creatures that cost less, that are really small, and you'd rather just be playing your bigger guys and getting a board presence. It's kind of funny because the card is really good against green decks, but I ignored that because I needed the green guy.
Let's go 2 picks further on, pack 3, pick 6. Here we go again, Chandra's Outrage Mark 2. Yeah, more quality removal. But even I understand why you didn't pick it this time.
Yeah, Cudgel Troll is one of the best 4-drops you can have in the format even, besides rares. I think he's won me more games than any other card in this format so far in playing. I draft green a lot. But yeah, it's not even close to the Outrage.
Now, the strange thing here is that you've still got this ton of white cards, but you end up green-red. Let's see how that ends up for Brad by the end of the first draft. Ta-da! 8-0 overnight. Now, to be honest, that draft was a little bit strange all around the table, all kinds of people fighting for colors. Today, Brad sits down next to Guillaume Waffatapa of France, the Control Master. Now, we're going to take you to pick 2 of the draft. Brad's already taken a Triskelion, and then he sees this pack. Now, I want you to look at this carefully. Let's see what there is. Ajani's Mantra, Cloud Elemental, Conundrum Sphinx, Demolish, Fiery Hellhound, Gravedigger, Land, Prized Unicorn, Phantom Beast, Nether Horror, Mighty Leap, Hornet Sting, Yavimaya Worm, and Earth Servant. That's what's there. Brad, what isn't there?
Mind Control.
Why do you say that? Explain this.
Because Guillaume Waffatapa loves blue decks. And I knew that going in. He drafted it, he plays it, that's just what he does. Even in like Zendikar, I saw him like drawing cards and playing Control. In that format, you couldn't do that. So I knew that the only card he'd take over Conundrum Sphinx was a Mind Control, since you can't double rare.
So at that point, with 41 picks still to go, you know exactly what the player on your right is doing pretty much for the entire draft. Fair? All right. This is obviously a great position to be in. Let's take a couple of picks further on. Pick 4. Now, there's a nice green card here. There's a Spined Worm you might be interested in. There's an Assassinate if you want to be looking at black. We're still very early in the draft. We've got Triskelion, the Conundrum Sphinx. Do you look at the Cloud Elemental here?
Yeah, the reason I wanted Cloud Elemental is because I knew Guillaume was going to help me cut the draft of blue, and I didn't really mind the guy to my left being in green. So if I'm taking all the blue cards out of the pack, that sets me up for a good blue pack 2, weakening his draft and allowing me to set up any green cards in pack 3.
Now, this to me seems very strange because by the end of pack 1, Brad's just got a couple of blue cards. He knows there's blue on his right, so he's not going to see blue again in pack 3. And I'm thinking, what do? If you know someone's playing blue, you get out of the way. But one of the interesting things is that we talk about colors as if they're one thing, the blue. But it isn't like that, is it? What you're saying is that basically the difference is that mind control is very much in one archetype and a cloud elemental very much in a different archetype.
Yeah, I mean, mind control goes in any deck.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But a card like Cloud Elemental is not what Guillaume's going to want. It's a control deck. It's like Cloud Elemental is a very aggressive card. It cannot be in a control deck, so he's going to pass me cards like that, Scroll Thief, Diminish, Unsummon, all the cards that I want to play with.
Okay, so we have a green deck with 2 blue cards at the end of pack 1. Let's go to the first pick of pack 2. It is a huge pick, and it's the one that Brad goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Here are the 2 cards you need to concentrate on. It's Juggernaut and Jace's Ingenuity. What's the choice?
Yeah, like I didn't want to pass Guillaume a Jason Ingenuity, and the problem with that was Juggernaut is really good in the green-blue deck if you can get it down with Llanowar Elves, and it can set up a lot of aggressive draws with Mana Leak and Negate. But in the end, I just took the Ingenuity because it'd be better to play with than play against.
All right. So at that point, Brad goes blue, 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 all the way through pack 2. Guillaume just doesn't see anything. And then we go to pack 3. So let's look at the opening pick here. And then what are you looking at here? I'm thinking, okay, so you're green-blue, fine. There's a Scroll Thief. There's a Greater Basilisk. You take Giant Growth. Explain to me how Giant Growth's a first pick.
It's funny because I took Giant Growth knowing that Fog was going to wheel.
Okay.
And I wanted that as well.
Right.
When I draft green-blue decks, I like having an abundance of one-drop, two-drop instances that can affect certain matchups. So, like, I wanted a Giant Growth, and there wasn't much in my deck. In this pack, like, I could have taken a Blinding Mage, but I knew I wouldn't get Growth back, and I wanted to guarantee that I could take a better card over Growth in the next 7 picks. I might find one, but I don't want to waste a slot. So I didn't get greedy by taking that, and I just got my Giant Growth.
The next 9 picks, they're all green. Pack 1, all green, couple of blue cards. Pack 2, back the other way, cut the blue. Pack 3, forget the blue again, 10 green picks. Let's see what the result was for Mr. Nelson. Up it comes. Ta-da! 11-0, 6-0 in draft. Now he has to leave draft behind and go back to New Extended where he's only 5-0. Anyone said Louis Scott Vargas to you lately?
You have.
Keep tuned to Tournament Center. For Brad Nelson, I'm your host, Rich Hagan, saying bye.